The word mangrove is derived from a Portuguese word that stands for a tree, which is mangrove, while for the English word for a stand of a tree, we call it as a grove. Mangrove ecosystem commonly refer to a tidal swamp ecosystem found in tropical deltas, estuaries, lagoons, or islands. Mangrove cover less than 1% of the Earth's surface and also have 80 different species of the mangrove trees. Mangrove general term for constituent plant which is muddy loose, wet soil in a tropical intertidal forest community. Mangrove have two community which is mangrove community and also a mangrove plants. Mangrove community have three parts which is marine and shoreline communities, mangrove forest boundary between two environments, and terrestrial community. Mangrove plant usually tree shrub or ground ferns, generally exceeding 1/2 meter in height. Those mangrove trees have a unique adaptation because the tree grow in a low oxygen soil, slow moving water which is allow fine sediment to accumulate. They also are roots that can handle the daily rise and falls of the tides. Mangrove also can adapt with the high saline water. Mangrove only can grow at a tropical and subtropical latitude, as they can grow only at above 19 degrees Celsius and can bear in a freezing community.
Mangrove trees have special adaptations to enable them to colonize their environments, such as leaves that can excrete salt, viviparous breeding, steel and buttress sprout roots to support them in the muddy substrates. Also, pneumatophore roots and area roots that can breathe. Mangroves are able to live in harsh saline environment because they have salt exclusion and salt excretion adaptations. The ability to exclude salts occurs through filtration at the surface of the root. Root membranes prevent salt from entering while allowing the water to pass through. This is effective at removing the majority of salt from seawater. In contrast to most plants, mangroves have poorly developed, shallow below ground root systems while having well-developed area roots. These area roots allow for the transport for atmospheric gases to the underground roots. Air roots, called pneumatophores, extend upward from the underground roots above the soil surface. During low tide, air is taken up through open passage in the pneumatophores and transported to living root tissues. All mangrove trees share two reproductive adaptations, which is viviparity and propagule dispersal. Similar to terrestrial plants, mangroves reproduce by flowering, with pollination occurring by wind and insects. Once pollinations occur, the seeds remain attached to the parent tree. They germinate into propagules before dropping into the waters below. This ability is referred to as viviparity. The propagules either take root in the sediments near the parent tree or are dispersed with the tides and currents to other shorelines.
These were mangrove forest, the one most rated tropical ecosystem, which is 35% mangrove in the world, already gone. There are few threats for mangrove. First, river changes. Dams and irrigation reduce the amount of water reaching the mangrove forest, changing the level of water salinity in the forest. If the salinity is too high, the mangrove cannot survive. Freshwater diversion can also cause the dry mangrove. In addition, increased erosion due to deforestation can increase the amount of sediment in the river on a large scale. This can overcome the ability to filter mangrove forests, which cause forests to be washed away. Second is overfishing. The global crisis facing the ocean of the world has directly affected the overpopulation. The ecological balance for the food chain and the mangrove community can also be changed. Third is Destruction of coral reef. Coral reef are the first barrier to current and wave. When it destroyed, wave and currents that are stronger than usual will reach the shore to damage the fine sediment where the mangrove grow. This can prevent settlings from spreading and clearing nutrients essential for mangrove ecosystem. Fourth is pollution. Fertilizer, pesticide, and other man-made toxic chemicals carried by the river system from source to upstream can kill animal living in mangrove forest, while all pollution can wipe out mangrove roots and suffocate trees. Lastly is climate change. Mangrove forests require stable sea levels for long-term survival. Therefore, they are very sensitive to current sea level rise due to global warming and climate change.
While mangroves are sometimes reduced to just swampy and smelly wasteland, numerous research has shown that the mangrove forest is a very dynamic and a highly productive ecosystem. Mangroves are very important to our ecosystem because it protects against the coastline and the shorelines against the erosive wave actions and the strong coastal winds. It also helps in preventing erosion by stabilizing the sediments through the tangle root system, and they also help in maintaining the water quality and clarity, filtering pollutants and trapping sediments originating from lands. Mangroves also serve as natural barriers against tsunamis and torrential storms. Mangrove areas are also important breeding ground for many fish and invertebrates, including crabs, prawns, and many other marine organisms. Mangroves are essential in sustaining a viable fishing industry. It is said that Malaysia's mangroves are more diverse compared to those in the tropical Australia, the Red Sea, the tropical Africa, and the Americas. Researchers had proven that about 50% of the fish landings in the peninsular Malaysia are associated with mangroves. Mangroves are also utilized in many parts of the world as a renewable resource. In some countries, the people utilize the mangrove as renewable resources. The mangrove are harvested for durable and water-resistant woods used in building houses, boats, and also furniture. The woods from black mangrove are sometimes used as charcoals, while the leaves from the mangrove are extracted to produce tea, medicine, and also livestock feed. Mangroves also help in preventing saltwater from intruding into the freshwater rivers, as it also plays an integral role in retaining, concentrating, recycling nutrients, and removing the toxicants through filtering process. Somehow, the mangrove also provide resources for the coastal areas. Therefore, it is really important for us to come up with a solid and proper management and conservation plans, and as it is notably necessary to ensure the continuous existence of the mangrove forest in our world.
Mangrove also plays vital roles for the animal, especially that inhabit this area. Furthermore, mangroves act as natural nurseries and breeding ground for a numerous number of marine species, including shrimp and fishes. The underwater mangrove root system provide a great area for these juvenile to take refuges from the bigger predator. When the mangrove refuge is no more needed, this animal will travel out into the nearby reef or even the open sea to complete the life cycle. Thus, this shows how mangrove act as a crucial source to replenish some of ocean fish stock and commercial fisheries as well. Besides, mangrove also provide food supply for the mangrove community. This include the invertebrate and algae that feed on essential nutrients that produced by decaying leaves that fall from each acre of the mangrove tree every year. This sequentially feed other animals, including many small animals, birds, sponges, worms, anemones, jellyfish, shrimp, and young fish. The tide also help to circulate the nutrient between the mudflat, estuaries, and coral reef, which will eventually feed the bivalve and other feeder community. Not to forget, human community that live in this area also highly depend on it for their protein sources. Lastly, mangrove is a home for a huge number of animal species, including the bald eagle, mud skipper, mud crab, and even the endangered proboscis monkey that are already listed in IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. The animal need mangrove to serve as protection from their predator and source of food. If the mangrove area is disturbed or even destroyed, it could cause a lot of trouble to the animal communities, especially that live here, and may lead them to extinction. Mangrove tree like Sonnetia cacellaris attract firefly because of the food and habitat it's provided. Imagine there is no more firefly. The community that depends on the tourism of the firefly attraction will collapse surely. Not just animal, human also take the same impact for the mangrove area destruction.
Awareness. As we all know, mangrove forests or mangrove area have many benefits to the environment and also ecosystem around it. So, awareness of the mangrove area among people or citizens is very important. Why? It is because the awareness can be started by the public or citizen. Citizens need to be aware about our mangrove area instead of waiting for the concern given by the government. Other than that, we're also facing the loss of our mangrove area because the mangrove area has become smaller and fragmented. It is because of the human activities where the mangrove trees are being cut for firewood and coastal development. We also should aware that the mangrove area provide very important environmental services since the mangrove areas offer many benefits to the environment, but these unique tropical forests have become the threatened habitat.
In the ways of how to spread awareness, firstly, we can host an educational event which we can help to educate people about the whole things about mangroves or giving additional knowledge that maybe people didn't know yet. So in this way, they will be aware of how mangroves can be really important to the environment. Other than that, organizing a project will help to spread awareness as well. For example, we can create a project of replanting mangrove trees at a place that have fewer mangroves or an area that has been destroyed by natural disaster or human activities. This kind of project will help to conserve the mangroves, especially the endangered ones. We can also make goodies such as magnet, bandage, or bookmark, something that's small that can be kept or hold easily. Small goodies like these are not only can be useful for daily routine, but it can be a good reminder every time they use it. Hosting a seminar could also help to spread awareness by inviting an expert on mangroves or people that make research on mangroves. This talk is beneficial to know more information about mangroves or prevent people from hearing the wrong facts about mangroves. And usually, people are more interested to know about their experience working in the mangroves area. And lastly, we can create an article that mainly focuses on mangroves, such as something that have been discovered recently or issues concerning the populations of mangroves. This way can be one of the best ways to spread to the people, since we can use the modern technologies such as a blog, social media, or online news. There are a lot of ways that can help to spread awareness of the conservation of the mangroves, but the ways that were mentioned earlier are some of the best ways to do it.